On the line right now is Assemblyman Anthony Brindisi. Good morning. Did you have?
Good morning.
Did you know that? Did you get the Charlie Brown thing there?
I did know Charlie Brown, and only because I love Charlie Brown and the Peanuts. So
yeah, if you if you followed that, you'd automatically know. Just the lovable loser type thing is blockhead and all that stuff. All right. So briefly, I want to talk about area code going into play. 680 starting tomorrow, right? You got to dial 315 when you're dialing locally.
that's correct. Starting tomorrow, you have to start dialing the area code first, which is we've been spared here for many years by not having to do this, but it's finally caught up to us where there's not enough numbers to go around, so we have to change area code just like New York City, many other parts of the state and country have had to do over the last few years because as numbers run out, you got to change area code.
Yeah. That goes into play. Now, that just automatically will happen. So tomorrow when you dial out, you're going to get a message if you don't do 315.
So you got to update all your contacts in your cell phone because many of them may only start with the regular phone number.
Now, I have to tell you that as an AT&T customer, we are already trained for this and ready to go because in order to text with AT&T, you always have to have the area code in play. So
really?
from the very beginning, I would put a number in and it would not include the area code. I text. Well, you have to include the area code. So all of my contacts already have the area code in, and I'm sure AT&T users are in the same boat. But everybody else, you're right. You got to go in and you got to put 315 in, or that call won't go through.
So the other 50% of us are all stuck, and we're going to learn from scratch here.
A lot of work going into play here. So, okay, Uber. I don't know. I think Senator Griffo was leading us to believe that this might not get through. At least the Senate bill won't get through the Assembly. What are your thoughts?
I'm a big supporter of Uber and Lyft and these other companies coming to Upstate. I think it's wrong that Upstate doesn't have these. There's some dispute because of the insurance limits that the Senate bill has and the Assembly bill has. I actually would support the Senate bill. I just want to get this done. The governor's also put it in his budget this year, so I'm hopeful that we won't have to even come to having to fight it out in the legislature. It can go right through the budget. But the Assembly, Senator Griffo, if he's alluding to the Assembly being the roadblock, he's correct. The Assembly has been the roadblock to this whole thing because we have many members that represent other areas of the state that are have powerful taxi lobbies, and they don't want to see Uber expanded into Upstate for their own selfish reasons. I think the competition would be good, certainly in this area where we lack a number of transportation options. Having Uber and Lyft will be a benefit. It gives people part-time jobs if they want it. It helps cut down on drunk driving because millennials are more likely to use it if they go out to a bar at night. It helps with business travelers who are coming to the area, get off at the train station. They can pull up the app and get Uber. So, we need it here, and it's unfortunate that it's taken this long. It's like MMA. It's just, we're the last to do everything because there's a small, select group of people who want to try to hold everything up.
You were pretty vocal this week on the president's pick for education. That confirmation is up and coming. You're quite vocal on it.
Well, I think she's the wrong choice. She certainly has shown to be someone who is not qualified in terms of running public education. She's been a very wealthy donor to the privatization of education, whether it's through voucher programs or other things like that. She just doesn't show the experience running public schools, which you would like to see in an education secretary. She was woefully underprepared for her confirmation hearing. She thought it was more important to keep grizzly bears out of the classroom as opposed to the U.S. Department of Education protecting children with disabilities. So it's pretty scary times for public education advocates, but we'll see what happens as things go forward. And I'm sure if there's moves that are going to be made, they'll be challenged at the state level, and we'll see. I'm all for trying to return control back to the local schools, give more power to the states, but we have to be mindful that we don't want to see money diverted from the public school system to fund these wealthy private schools. And let's not forget that 9 out of 10 children in this country attend traditional public schools, and we can't leave them behind.
And finally, the Purcell situation, this letter to the city, almost giving the city permission to say, okay, you guys can go back and market this, blaming Nano for their tardiness on payments. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I think they were, as I said before, very disingenuous to blame Nano for the reason they couldn't pull together their financing. This project had problems from the get-go. They had problems back in the fall before Nano was even announced that it wasn't coming, that they couldn't get financing for this project. So, this is just a company that wasn't ready for prime time, in all honesty, and it's unfortunate that it had to take this long, and finally for them to tell us they're not ready, where we should be really dictating the terms of these things to them. This is very valuable property in downtown Utica, right near the auditorium. And I know there's others out there who would like to see that property go back on the market and be utilized for various purposes.
All right. Assemblyman Anthony Brindisi, thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
All right, Bill. All right. Thank you.